Hi Power Queens, welcome to another episode of Power Queens. Today we'll be discussing the boss in the mirror, and I'm interviewing the gorgeous, the powerful, the amazing Thando Dlamini. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Thandi. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on Power Queens.
It's only a pleasure.
Oh man, it's really awesome. I mean, for those of you that don't know, I have been wanting to interview Thando for such a long time. I've been following you for such a long time. You've been such a big inspiration to me and a big motivation to me. So just being in your presence for me is really exciting.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
It's an absolute pleasure. So Thando, just tell us a bit about yourself, who you are, where you grew up, you know, who is Thando?
Okay, I grew up, was born and raised in Tongat, in the north of Durban. I did my primary and high school years here in Durban, and then I left after varsity. I went to Joburg. That's where I started my career, and then 5 years later I came back. I'm married. I've got 2 kids. I'm born again Christian, and I'm a businesswoman.
That's amazing. So what made you move from Joburg to Durban?
I guess it was I had exhausted what I'd gone to Joburg for, and I needed to grow. So I had been in the same industry for about 5 years, and I got a great opportunity back here in Durban to join one of the amazing FMCG's company, and it was a great opportunity, and yeah.
That's wonderful. So Thando, what type of industry are you in business-wise? What do you do?
I'm in marketing and events.
Oh, awesome,
Okay.
awesome. And how did you get into marketing? What motivated you to actually go, you know what, marketing is my thing?
Okay, so when I left Joburg, I joined a FMCG company, and within my role, I used to plan activations and events. And then so I did that for about 3 years, and in the process of getting married, I also planned my own traditional wedding, and I was so
really?
excited with the planning and putting everything together. And then I had kids. My daughter's first birthday, I planned it myself, and anything with planning and executing an event into life just gave me life.
Wow.
And a couple of years later, I was like, you know what, I could actually make a living out of this. So that's why I left corporate to fulfill my purpose and do events.
That is absolutely phenomenal. You really are the epitome of a superwoman, really. Planning your own event, planning your own wedding. I mean, that's
Yeah.
truly amazing. And so tell us about Naked Brain Communications. How did that happen?
Okay, so Naked Brain Communications is below the line marketing agency. Okay, so it started in 2015. My husband and I started together. He comes from a marketing background. He also worked for SMCG. He was a brand manager for one of the leading brands. So, so when he left corporate, we decided that okay, let's start this agency. So what do we do? We focus on research,
Okay.
strategy, and then concepts, and then together with Unami Concepts, we bring the concepts into life.
Wow. And how would you define, or as a marketer, how would you define for people that really don't have a clue about marketing, what is marketing? How would you define it? In your own words, it doesn't have to be, you know,
So marketing now has really changed from what it was back in the days. So back in the days, marketing was just putting your brand out there.
yes.
You know, putting your brand out there for people to see. Now, marketing has changed because now, instead of, yes, with putting your brand out there, you have to touch the hearts of people. So brands really have to have purpose. Because brands that have purpose, brands that have purpose last.
Yeah.
So in today's marketing, you really need to touch the heart of the people.
So there needs to be some sort of like emotional attachment
Yes.
to what you're selling, and
Yes.
have some sort of personal relationships even with some of your clients.
Sure.
That's awesome. And Unami Concept Celebrations, when did you start that company and why did you start it?
Okay, so It's amazing that both companies were born or started in the same year.
Okay.
So Unami Concept started in 2015 as well. So what was the question?
It's when did you start them, and basically how did you start them? And
Yeah, so
birth
as I
of
had
it.
mentioned before, is that from planning my traditional wedding, planning my wedding, planning my daughter's party, that's where the love began. And then also the field that I was in within the FMCG, I used to
Yeah.
plan events.
Okay.
And because I had the passion and the love for it, I was like, you know what, I could actually make a living out of this. So that's where Unami Concept started. It was something that had been in my heart for years. And then in 2015, I decided, you know what, it's time.
Yes.
Let me just do this.
Yes, so you just took a leap of faith and you believed in yourself and you worked hard and look at where you are today. I think that's a beautiful story to tell, because I think there are some women that have great concepts or deep passions for something specific, and they just don't have that motivation or the balls, the guts to just go, you know what, it's time that I do this. So I really commend you for just taking that leap of faith, believing in yourself and going, I'm doing this, you know?
Because you'll never know unless you try.
Exactly,
You
you'll
know?
never know.
So I always say that I'm grateful that I took that leap of faith.
Yes.
Because when I look back and look at the company, how we've grown over the years, I'm like, I thank God that I took that leap of faith, because I wouldn't have known. Because before I started in 2015, I had been contemplating for about 3 years, and I had shared my
Wow.
ideas with friends and people, you know. And sometimes you really need to protect your dream and be mindful of who do you share that dream with. 'Cause
Hey, that's
some people
true.
will crush you and say, no, that's not going to work.
That's impossible.
You
It's
know,
unrealistic.
so you have to take that leap of faith, because you'll never know.
Absolutely, I love that, and I think what you've just said now, I really hope in my heart that it motivates ladies that are watching, because I know that there will be women that watch this episode and go, "Oh my word, I needed to hear that,"
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So that's really awesome. And you spoke about the growth of the companies. What would you say has been your biggest milestone so far, and your biggest achievement, and something that you can say, "Wow, now that day I did that."
I think now working with one of the biggest FMCGs, and last year we were very fortunate to do the year-end function.
It's amazing.
I look back and I'm like, I still see both companies as babies. And for us to have been fortunate to do that year-end function, it's the biggest thing that I could ever have hoped for. And I never saw it coming so early.
Right?
Yeah.
That's truly amazing. And how important would you say is marketing in a business, specifically small businesses, and how can small business owners implement marketing strategies on a shoestring budget?
It's very important, because if you don't market, then people are never going to know your offering. So it's important that you put your brand, you put your products, you put your services out there. Nowadays, we're very fortunate with social media. It has helped us a great deal.
Yeah.
That you can put your brand on Instagram. You now have you can sponsor, you can boost your
Facebook posts and
for
things.
your Facebook posts. So we're very fortunate with social media, what the offering that it has given us as small businesses, and with the small budgets, you know, in nowadays, like with events, what I can say, you can do style shoots. I used to come here and then ask them for a table, and then I'll do like a setting for about 10 people, and then I'd have a lady that would come and take pictures, and then I'd put those on Instagram and boost it. You know, you have to constantly put your product out there, put your service out there, and you're as good as your last job.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, that's really a great tip, because I think there are a lot of entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs who are stressing already about how am I going to afford everything. Because I know that sometimes in social media we get so fixated on wanting to perfect everything, and that kind of deters us from just starting. you know. And I'm not gonna lie, I used to be one of those people where I'm like, you know what, if I can't do it the way that I really want to do it, I'm not gonna do it, because I'm very hard on myself, and I must admit that I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, and I want things to be done really well. But I now know for a fact that, you know what, the most important thing is to start. Yes, do not produce or execute, sloppy work or work that wasn't well thought of or delivered in a professional manner. But at the end of the day, you can be creative in terms of your budget. What you just said now makes a lot of sense.
And you start small.
And like you say, you didn't need an expensive, high-tech camera.
Yeah.
You literally came here and you asked someone to take pictures of you and your work, and that was it. Same with what I'm doing actually.
Yeah.
I'm using my phone to record.
Exactly.
Because I simply cannot afford the camera
Yeah.
that is required for a big production.
But here you are. You've started.
I've started.
And you
Right?
start small.
You've got to start small. And as a business, how do you get brands to work with you, and how do you get them to not only commit to saying, you know what, yeah, we will work with you? How do you get them to actually committing to that? How do you get them to use your services? Because I know for a small business or a new entrepreneur for that matter, we do struggle a little bit to just lock in those business deals. How would you say is a great way to just, lock in those business deals, get people to actually use your services and pay you as well?
True. I think you're as good as your last job, as I said before. Whenever we get a project, we give it our 110%. Because we know that from that job, we'll get more others coming. And with delivering any event or any service, you also have to give that client good customer service, because they will give word of mouth. I think with corporates, we've worked with a certain brand, and then we deliver, and then they get so happy, and then they hype up, and then they also tell other brands that, you know what, guys, if you're looking for an agency, here's Naked Brain. If you want to do an event, here's Onami Concept.
Yes.
So it's very important. You're as good as your last job. So it's very important that no matter how small of business it is, give it your 110%, because that will bring you more business. Yeah.
And then how did you? Because I know that we need to, attain like practical tips or things that we can do that can make the next person think, okay, this is the steps that I need to follow. How did you pitch yourself to that big brand? How did you something as simple as an appointment? How did you know who to set an appointment with? How did you get them to go, okay, I will meet with them? And how did you pitch yourself? What was the process?
It is, I think, from us getting our first job from corporate, I think it took us about almost 2 years.
Wow.
You have to be consistently knocking on the doors. We'd call, we'd go for pitches, and sometimes, most of the times, we wouldn't get the pitch, but we'd still pitch against huge agencies. So you have to be constantly knocking on those doors, making the calls, asking to be invited for the pitch, and you have to give in the work. And now, 2 years, well, now the companies are 4 years. 4 years later, we don't go to pitches as much. Now we get briefs. So yeah, but it takes time to get there, And when we were given the pitches, we'd give it our 110%, knowing that we are pitching against big brands. But we were the puppies in the game, But we'd give it our all. And once we got that job, we made sure that we are going to give it our all, because we knew that this will bring in more.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I, that's also something really important for ladies to learn, because you find people who have great ideas, but the only reason why they don't materialize is because they don't give it their all.
True.
And for me, in a way, that's self-sabotage. You know that you have these great ideas, but you just don't give it your all,
True. And sometimes people would, you'd get something and then you'd scale it, and you'd say, no, this is much of a small job. Never underestimate any type of job.
Yeah.
You know, whatever you get, give it your all. Because you never know who's watching. You never know, you know, what can preside out of that.
Yes,
you know,
that's so true. And as a brand and as a person that owns two companies that are successful, would you say, given the 4 years that you've been in this industry of being an entrepreneur specifically for these two companies that you now own, would you say that it's definitely a lucrative industry that you're in, both companies, or are they different? Are they companies that have or that make like seasonal profits, or are there companies where if you're really giving it your all, you can consistently, you know, acquire, you know, a profit from them?
I think with any business, you have to give in the hours.
Yeah.
You have to give in the blood and sweat in order for it to be lucrative.
Yeah.
I'd say with Unami Concepts, more of you'd think that it's seasonal because it's more of events and execution. But if you give it your all, the jobs are going to come, because once you deliver an event, people and you market it and you put it out there, people are going to see that event and they're going to want it. You know, with Naked Brain, because it's marketing, like you have to give in the hours, because you're as good as your last job. And I'll keep saying that, that you are as good as your last job. So you have to give in the blood and sweat, give in the hours, put in the hours.
Yes, yes. And what would you say sets Naked Brands apart from other marketing companies? What experience do you offer for clients? What can they expect if they go, I want you to market me or my company or execute my event, or
I think with Naked Brains, because we conceptualize. If a brand comes to us and says, you know what, we want to launch, we'll do like a concept.
Okay.
And then we'll go as far as executing the event with Unami Concepts. So Naked Brain focuses on.
I see.
So we are like one-stop house.
Yes.
So Naked Brain will come up with the concept and Naked Brain will come up with the concept, and then Unami Concepts will execute.
Okay.
So you don't have to work with two agencies.
I see.
You know,
it's a one-stop shop.
One-stop shop.
That makes it very convenient, for clients, because you go there, you're like, oh, okay, this is what I want to do, and the conceptualization is left in your hands, and then also the execution is left in your hands, which is really awesome, I think.
Yeah,
you know,
it's amazing.
Yeah, and the fact that you are a wife, a mother, and a businesswoman, in my opinion, is amazing, and I think it's something very, very powerful. And that's what makes you a boss. You know, the reason why I gave this topic to you was because from what I saw, how you present yourself, who you are, what you do, what you're about, mother, wife, and businesswoman. For me, I was like, that's boss. You know, so that's why I gave the topic to you. How do you juggle all these things?
I'm glad you say juggle, not balance. Because when I look at my life, my day, it's always like about juggling.
Yes.
So the fact that I don't have an au pair, and I always say that people always advise when I just say, okay, I'm always stressed because of the kids and business and stuff, and the suggestion that I always get is like, why don't you get an au pair? But I'm like, no, I can't, because my husband does the morning drops-offs for the school. Okay, he takes the kids to school, and then I do the afternoon pickups, and that time is my bonding time with the kids. So then what I usually do, sometimes we'll stop at a grocery store and then I'll get them to choose a snack, or when they get in the car, maybe I'll have something in the back seat for them. So I use that time to bond with them. And then we try because we work 6 days a week, Monday to Saturday. So we'll always try for Sunday that after church we do like a family activity. You know, I try to balance, to juggle everything. And then with me being a wife, I also know that my husband also needs his time. You know, so as much as we work together and spend every day together because we work in the same office, you know. So we always try to maybe take one day once in a while, maybe to drive up to the north or drive to the Midlands just to spend one night and have that one-on-one time together. So we try to have those moments, you know, even though it's so our lives are so crazy, but we try to, you know what, when it's family time, we'll try and make a stop and then make that time.
That's awesome. And I really love the fact that you work with your husband, because I actually also work with my partner, my boyfriend, right? And people are always like 50-50 about this, and I love it. I think it's amazing. I think it's like the best thing in the world. You know, power moves together, power couple together. Like, you support each other, you get each other, you know, and you get to spend extra time with each other. And honestly, obviously, after work, he gets to do some of his things on the side, and you get to look after yourself. But I think that is really cool. How can I ask this question? How do you guys balance? Not balance necessarily. How do you work together at work? You know, do you struggle with maybe, you know, fighting or like what role do you assume and what role does he assume? Because I know people are always like, oh, I could never work with my partner, it'd be so annoying. But I love seeing couples that actually work together, and I think it's awesome. How are you finding that with your husband?
For me, it's amazing because we just get each other.
Yes.
You know, he thinks what I think.
Yeah.
And I think it's because we are both creatives. We're always thinking and sharing ideas, and we never get tired of, you know, talking about our ideas. And when he has an idea, I listen, and then whatever. When he has an idea, I'm quick to jump on it and also share what are my thoughts. What are my thoughts about it? So I love it because I think more than anything we are friends, and then husband and wife, and then business partners.
That's so important.
And for me, I never get tired of being with him, you know, because he's the one person that really gets me, you know. But he also has time with his friends where he goes and be with the guys, and with me as well. I go and be with my girls. But it's just amazing because I just never get tired of being with him and sharing ideas, because it's the one person that I can sit with all day and then we just share ideas and
I love that, and I can 100% relate to it, and I love it. I think that you both are doing an amazing job. I've seen the way that you guys both operate, you know, and I love it. I think it's a huge inspiration, and I just hope that for women out there who are wanting to go into business with their boyfriends or husbands, go for it. If it works for you, it works. Because I think that also with us women, we tend to like sometimes compare our relationships to others, and not relationships are all different. You know, you got to do what works for you.
Yeah, what I can say that working together has also helped us to improve our communication skills.
Oh, really?
You know, so even when we don't see eye to eye, we now better communicators, because at work we constantly have to communicate. Yes. So now if I have a problem, I can address it to him, and you know, so it has improved our communication in our marriage. Yes. You know, because we constantly communicate.
Yes. It forces you to always be communicating. Yeah, whether it's if you are in a disagreement or in agreement. I think it actually betters your communication.
It does.
You know, you learn how to handle conflict. You know, better and all those kind of things. And why do you think it is important for women to be financially independent? Because I know that in the world that we're living in, there's different types of things, you know, that women are doing now to get a source of income, you know. But would you say for yourself as a businesswoman, it's important for a woman to be financially independent? And why do you think it's so important?
It's definitely important. In a world or society where women go through so much. Yeah. And I feel that to be financially independent, it gives you that voice, it gives you a ground, you know, it gives you that stability. So it is very important.
I think so too. I think so too, because I feel like gone are the days where women are just like, you know what, the man will just, you know, do all the work, you know. And I know that it's for some women it's great and works for that relationship, but I do think that sometimes it is nice just to have that, like, you know, something to fall back on. Exactly. You know, because you never know what life has to offer. True. And it's just great to just sleep at night knowing that, you know what, I make my own money.
True.
You know?
You can make your own decisions.
Yes, even if you are a housewife.
Yeah,
It doesn't mean if you're a housewife that then now means you don't have money or you can't have money or some sort of income coming into you that belongs to you and you alone.
True.
You know, so I really do think that it is important, you know.
It is.
And with regards to, you know, physical health, mental health, you know, and honestly being, you know, someone who is a mother and a wife and a businesswoman, how do you consistently keep yourself just going, you know? And do you sometimes, you know, face challenges where you feel down and you're like, oh, I can't anymore, I just want to stop? And if ever that does happen to you, how do you keep yourself going? Because I do think that it's important for women to also just take care of themselves, not only on the outside, but the inside too. Because I think as an entrepreneur, as you'll know, you've got to have thick skin because you'll get rejected. Sometimes you'll experience months where you haven't made money. So it affects you emotionally. How do you deal with all of that?
You're not always motivated here. It doesn't happen every week.
Yeah.
So there are times where you feel down, there are times where you feel overwhelmed, there are times where you're anxious, you know, and then you need that support structure. You need like a cheerleader, someone's gonna say, you know what, keep pushing, like a comrades runner. The winner doesn't start from start to finish on their own. They've got their coach, they've got the support behind them. So you do need that support structure, someone when you are down, someone's going to encourage you that, you know what, keep going. So what I do when I'm down, I read my Bible, because that's where my strength comes from, you know. I watch videos that are going to uplift me. I read, you know. I go to the gym a lot, you know. So yeah, you're not always motivated and wanting to get out of bed. There are times where you just, you know what, you're like, you know, today I'm just going to stay in bed all day. But you do need that support structure, someone who's going to remind you that, you know what, you're actually doing a great job, you know, everything's going to fall into place. Yeah.
And do you have mentors by any chance? Because I do think that it's also important for not just women, people in general, whether you're in business or not in business, you've got to have some sort of mentorship or mentors in your life, people that you can draw wisdom from and that support structure from, you know. Do you by any chance have any mentors?
Yes, I do have a mentor. I think as you grow in business, you do need someone who's going to guide you in certain decisions, you know, because you do face milestones, and you need the advice, you know. So you do have to have that someone that who's been in that road, you know, someone who is ahead of you, that you can give a call and say, you know what, this is the challenge that I'm facing. What do I do in this instance? And in my case, mostly it's about finances, you know. Sometimes you get projects and you need loads of money, you know, so you need someone who's going to guide, you know what can I do in this situation. Yeah.
Who is your mentor, if you don't mind sharing with us?
It's Stable. She's
okay.
based in Hillcrest. Yeah.
Is she also like a business
she's
owner?
in business, yeah.
And do you think that it's important for an entrepreneur to find mentors that have different personalities and are in different fields?
Yes, it is. Because you learn, you'll always learn from different people. Yeah. So it's important to be very versatile from where you get your advice and strength.
Yes. Wow, that's really true. Because you do find that also there'll be some mentors who are in one industry but have different personalities and different styles of executing business.
True.
And it's just always nice to get like a holistic, you know, opinion when it comes to how you run your life and how you run your business.
Because you've got different strengths.
You got different strengths, right? Yeah. So Thando, please tell us what you feel like a power queen is. What is your definition of a power queen?
For me, a power queen is someone who, for me, a power queen is a lady or a girl who's beautiful inside and out. Yes. Someone who's very grounded. Someone who's a non-conformist. Someone who's got goals and someone who follows those goals. Someone who's someone who lifts up people. You know, as you grow, you must have people that you're going to grow up with, you know, someone who's always willing to assist, you know, and yeah.
I love that. I really love the fact that you said Power Queen is also a woman that lifts others up. You know, I think that if us, especially black women, can start really implementing that in our lives, we can go far, especially in Africa, in a continent where we are still, you know, at the bottom of the food chain. Yes, we're seeing women out here making power moves, but I think that collectively we can definitely rule, you know. Thank you so much for being on Power Queen Thando. Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. I've had a great time. You are a phenomenal woman. You are indeed a power queen, and I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to meet with you and learn from you. And I just hope that all the ladies watching can really also learn from this interview. And yes, you definitely are the boss in the mirror.
Thank you for having me. I had such a great time. It flew so quickly.
Right?
I thought we were still going to chat. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. And those ladies that are watching, all the power queens out there, please look out for Thando on social media. I'm telling you, she's doing great things. You can learn from her. She's a power queen. And thanks for watching as well. We'll see you again next time on Power Queens.